A wicked billionaire CEO, known as the Ice King for his heartless business tactics, stumbles upon a struggling single mother in the Bronx doing something extraordinary, organizing a community food drive right after her son's life-saving surgery. But what happens next is unbelievable. This one unexpected act of kindness from the billionaire sparks a chain reaction that transforms an entire community and melts the ice around his own heart. In the heart of New York City, 2025, where towering skyscrapers cast long shadows over crowded streets, economic divides have never been sharper. The rich soar higher in their glass penthouses, while the working class scrambles below in neighborhoods battered by post-pandemic hardships, skyrocketing rents, job losses, and a healthcare system that feels like it's designed to fail the vulnerable. It's a city of contrasts: luxury cars zipping past homeless encampments, gourmet restaurants neighboring food banks. Amid this chaos lives Alexander Voss, the 52-year-old CEO of Vostek, a tech giant that's revolutionized data analytics, but at a brutal cost. Alex's day starts at 5 a.m. in his sprawling penthouse overlooking Central Park. He wakes to the soft hum of his smart home system, but sleep evades him most nights. Insomnia has been his companion since childhood, a remnant of foster homes where trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. Abandoned at age 5, Alex learned early that vulnerability gets you nowhere. He built Vostek from a garage startup into a billion-dollar empire through ruthless decisions, mergers that swallowed competitors whole, layoffs that prioritized profits over people. Tabloids call him the Ice King, and he wears it like armor. In board meetings, his voice is clipped, demanding, "Numbers don't lie. People do." His executives nod eagerly, but behind closed doors, Alex stares at his reflection in floor-to-ceiling windows, wondering why success feels so empty. No family, no friends, just a hollow victory lap. Cut to the Bronx, where Maria Ruiz, 35, fights a different battle. A single mom with warm brown eyes and calloused hands from years on assembly lines. Maria's life is a relentless grind. She rises before dawn in her cramped two-bedroom apartment, shared with her 8-year-old son, Tomas. The walls are thin, echoing with neighbors' arguments and the distant wail of sirens. Tomas has a rare heart condition, congenital and cruel, requiring treatments that drain her savings. Laid off from Vostek 2 years ago during one of Alex's efficiency purges, Maria now juggles a waitressing gig at a diner and cleaning offices at night. Her shifts blur together, wiping tables sticky with syrup, scrubbing floors until her knees ache. Bills pile up on the kitchen table, the medical statements in red ink, rent notices threatening eviction. But Maria's spirit shines through the hardship. She's the glue in her diverse community, chatting with Ahmed, the Pakistani cab driver who shares stories of Lahore over coffee, helping Mrs. Johnson, the African-American retired teacher, with her groceries, trading recipes with Carlos, the Latino entrepreneur running a corner bodega. They're all immigrants or descendants, bound by resilience in a city that often forgets them. Maria's hidden nobility, her unwavering optimism for Tomas. She reads him bedtime stories of heroes overcoming odds, even as she skips meals to afford his meds. "We'll make it, Mio," she whispers, tucking him in. Tomas, pale but bright-eyed, dreams of becoming a doctor to help kids like him. One fateful morning, everything shifts. A leaked video goes viral. Hidden footage from Vostek warehouses showing overworked employees collapsing from exhaustion, and safe conditions ignored for deadlines. The backlash is swift. Stocks plummet. Protesters gather outside headquarters, chanting "Ice King melts." Alex, pacing his office, slams his fist on the desk. "Fix this." He balks at his PR team. In a rare impulsive move, he authorizes a massive donation to a local Bronx clinic, calculating it as damage control. Little does he know, that clinic is where Tomas gets treated. The funds cover his long-awaited surgery, pulling Maria from the brink. The surgery was a success. In the quiet recovery room of the Bronx Community Clinic, sunlight filtered through half-drawn blinds, casting soft patterns on the white sheets. Maria sat beside Tomas's bed, holding his small hand as the monitors beeped steadily. Tomas, still groggy from anesthesia, managed a weak smile. "Mommy, does my heart feel stronger now?" he whispered. Maria brushed tears from her cheeks and kissed his forehead. "Stronger than ever, Mio. We're going to be okay." She had no idea who had paid for it. The clinic administrator simply said, "An anonymous donor covered everything." Maria clung to that miracle like a lifeline. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to breathe. Meanwhile, across the city and his glass tower, Alex Voss watched the donation story get buried under fresher scandals. His PR team congratulated him on the strategic goodwill gesture, but Alex felt nothing. Another calculated move in a game he was tired of playing. That evening, restless, he did something unusual. He left his driver behind and walked the streets of Midtown, then ventured further, toward the subway. He needed air, perspective, anything to quiet the emptiness. Fate, or coincidence, brought him to the Bronx on a crisp autumn afternoon 2 weeks later. A community food drive had popped up in a small park near Maria's apartment block. Tables lined with donated cans, fresh produce from local bodegas, warm soup steaming in pots. Volunteers laughed and chatted in a mix of Spanish, English, Urdu. Maria stood at the center, apron tied around her waist, directing people with gentle authority. She handed a bag of groceries to an elderly woman, then knelt to help a child tie his shoe. Alex paused at the edge of the crowd, hands in his coat pockets. He wasn't dressed for this tailored wool overcoat, expensive watch glinting, but something held him there. He watched Maria move with quiet grace, never rushing, always smiling even when sweat beaded on her brow from the work. Their eyes met when she looked up to hand a sandwich to a homeless man. Recognition flickered, not of faces, but of something deeper. Alex felt exposed, like she'd seen past the armor. He turned to leave, but Maria called out softly, "Sir, you look like you could use something warm. It's chicken noodle made fresh this morning." He froze. No one had spoken to him like that, in years, direct, kind, without agenda. He accepted the bowl, the steam rising between them. "Thank you," he said, voice rougher than intended. Maria tilted her head. "You don't look like you're from around here." "I'm just passing through." He sipped the soup. It was simple, hearty, better than anything from his private chef. "This is good." She smiled faintly. "My abuela's recipe. Food's more than calories, it's memory, comfort." She glanced at the crowd. "We lost a lot during the layoffs a couple years back. Places like Vostok, they don't see the people behind the numbers." Alex's jaw tightened. He should have walked away. Instead, he asked, "You worked there?" "Assembly line. Good pay, until it wasn't." She shrugged. No bitterness, just fact. "But we're still here, still helping each other." Something cracked in him, then a tiny fracture. He saw Tomas nearby, sitting on a bench with a coloring book, looking healthier than the pale boy in the leaked clinic records Alex had glimpsed during the donation paperwork. The resemblance to his own childhood photos hit like a punch. Same determined eyes, same quiet hope. Before he could stop himself, Alex pulled out his wallet. He slipped a thick envelope inside a grocery bag and handed it to her discreetly. "For the boy, whatever he needs next." Maria's eyes widened as she felt the weight. She opened it slightly. "Cash, enough for months of follow-ups, therapy, even a better apartment." Her hand trembled. I can't take this." "Who are you?" Someone who knows what it's like to need help and not get it, he said quietly. Please, no strings. Tears welled in her eyes, but she held them back with dignity. Thank you, truly, but kindness like this, it doesn't stay small, it grows. She met his gaze steadily. What's your name? He hesitated. Alex. Maria. She extended her hand. He took it warm, calloused, real. For a moment, the city noise faded. To strangers, worlds apart, connected by one small, impulsive act. As he walked away, envelope lighter but chest strangely heavier, Maria watched him go. She didn't know he was the Ice King. She only knew a man had seen her struggle and chosen to help without fanfare. Later that night, back in his penthouse, Alex stood at the window, soup bowl still in hand, the city lights blurred. For the first time in decades, sleep came easier. Before we continue with this incredible journey, I spent countless hours researching and crafting this story to bring you something truly meaningful. If stories like this touch your heart and you want to see more acts of kindness that restore faith in humanity, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It means the world to me and helps these important stories reach others who need to hear them. Now, let's see what happens next. What would you do if you discovered someone with incredible talent living in such difficult circumstances? Let me know your thoughts below. I read every comment. Weeks passed, and the envelope from Alex became Maria's quiet anchor. She used it wisely, first for Tomas's follow-up appointments, then to catch up on rent, and finally to enroll him in an after-school art program, where his drawings of hearts and city skylines started winning small prizes. For the first time, Maria slept through the night without the weight of tomorrow crushing her. She didn't forget the stranger. At every community gathering, she asked around discreetly, anyone know a tall guy in a nice coat who helped out at the food drive? No one did, but she paid the kindness forward in small ways, extra portions for the homeless veteran, Mr. Hayes, who now sat with Tomas teaching him chess, covering a shift for a neighbor so she could attend a job interview. One rainy Tuesday evening, Maria spotted Alex again. He was back at the same park, this time without the coat, sleeves rolled up, quietly unloading crates of fresh vegetables donated anonymously to the food pantry. Their eyes met across the wet pavement. You came back, Maria said, approaching with an umbrella. Couldn't stay away, Alex admitted, voice low. So the flyers for tonight's drive, figured. Extra hands might help. They worked side by side in comfortable silence at first. Then conversation flowed. Maria shared stories of Tomas's progress. He's drawing again. Wants to be an architect now, build homes people can afford. Alex listened, really listened. Something foreign to him. In return, he opened a crack. I grew up with nothing. Foster homes. Learned quick that asking for help got you nowhere. So I stopped asking. And stopped giving. Maria nodded. That's survival. But surviving isn't living. Look at Tomas, he's fighting every day. But he still smiles at strangers. Alex glanced at the boy across the park, laughing with friends. A memory surfaced. Himself at 8, hungry in a group home, too proud to take the extra sandwich offered by a kind worker. He swallowed hard. Over the next month, their encounters became routine. Alex showed up anonymously, at first donating supplies, then volunteering openly. He fixed a broken table at the community center, taught basic coding to kids like Tomas using old laptops he found in storage. Maria watched the change, the Ice King's edges softening, his smiles rare but genuine. The community noticed too. Ahmed the cab driver joked, "Your mystery man is all right, Maria. Quiet, but he listens." Mrs. Johnson baked him cookies one day. "For the helper," she said with a wink. But shadows loomed. Word reached Vostek's board. A leaked photo surfaced online. Alex Voss, sleeves rolled, handing out meals in the Bronx. Headlines twisted it, Ice King goes slumming, and stock dipped slightly. In a tense boardroom meeting, his CEO confronted him. This PR stunt is backfiring. You're alienating investors. Pull back, or we force a vote. Alex stared at the screen showing protest signs outside headquarters. It's not a stunt, the coup scoffed. Then what is it? Charity. You're the CEO, not Santa. That night, Alex sat alone in his penthouse, staring at his phone. A text from an unknown number. Tomas drew this for you. Thank you again. Maria attached was a crayon sketch of a tall man with a kind face, holding a bowl of soup labeled friend. He almost deleted the thread. Kindness felt dangerous, like weakness returning. He typed, then erased, then finally sent. Tell him it's beautiful. And tell him, thank you. Doubt crept into Maria too. When a reporter cornered her at the clinic, we hear a billionaire's involved in your son's care. Is this Voss paying off bad press? Maria froze. She hadn't connected the dots until then. The anonymous donor, the familiar face Alexander Voss, the man who'd laid her off. She confronted him the next day at the park, voice shaking. You're him, the Ice King. Why guilt? Alex looked away, rain mixing with something else on his face. At first, maybe, damage control. But then, I saw Tomas, saw myself in him. And you didn't bag, didn't hate. You just kept going, kept being kind. Maria's anger softened. I was angry at Vastek, at you. But you're here now. That's what matters. He met her eyes. I don't know how to do this. Helping, without strings, without control. Then start small, she said. Stay, be the friend Tomas thinks you are. But the board didn't relent. A formal letter arrived. Cease community involvement or face removal as CEO. Alex's world tilted. Empire versus something real. Maria faced her own test. Hospital bills lingered despite the initial help, and her second job cut hours. Tomas's next checkup loomed. She considered asking Alex outright but held back, dignity intact. Tension peaked one evening when Alex arrived late, face drawn. They're trying to push me out. Say I'm distracted. Maria touched his arm. Then fight for what's right. Not the board, for the people who matter. In that moment, trust deepened. To wounded souls, finding strength in each other. But the obstacles mounted: corporate pressure, lingering resentment, the fear that one wrong move could shatter everything. Have you ever had to overcome obstacles to help someone you cared about? What challenges did you face? Share your experience below. The boardroom confrontation came like a storm Alex had seen building for weeks. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as the Vostek executives sat in a semicircle, faces carved from stone. The chairman, a silver-haired man who'd been with the company since the early days, slid a folder across the polished table. Alexander, this has gone far enough. Your extracurricular activities are damaging brand perception. Investors are nervous. We need focus on profits, not soup kitchens. Alex stood at the head of the table, hands flat on the surface. For the first time, he didn't feel the familiar surge of cold control. I've built this company on numbers, he said quietly. But numbers don't tell the whole story. I laid off thousands. I justified it. Told myself it was necessary. But I was wrong. Silence. Then murmurs. I'm not stepping down, Alex continued. I'm changing direction. Vostek will launch a community reinvestment program, job training, healthcare partnerships, affordable housing initiatives in the neighborhoods we've ignored. If the board votes me out, so be it. But I won't run this company the way I used to. The room erupted. Arguments flew, legal threats, shareholder revolts. Alex walked out before the vote, heart pounding but strangely calm. He drove straight to the Bronx. Maria was at the community center, helping set up for a small celebration. Tomas's first clean bill of health in years. Balloons bobbed, laughter filled the air. When she saw Alex's face drawn, resolute, she pulled him aside to the quiet hallway. "They want me gone," he said. "For helping, for being here." Maria searched his eyes. "And you're still here. I realized something tonight. All those years building walls, I was protecting nothing worth having. You and Tomas, you showed me what matters." Tears shimmered in her eyes. "You don't have to lose everything to do good." "Maybe I do," he said. "But if I lose the empire and keep this," he gestured toward the laughter echoing from the main room, "it's worth it." That night, Alex made calls. Anonymous at first, redirecting personal funds to cover the community's immediate needs. Rent relief for a dozen families. Scholarships for the after-school program. A mobile health van that would park weekly in the park. Then bolder moves. He partnered with local nonprofits, using Vostek resources to build free coding academies and repair workshops. The backlash was fierce. Stocks dipped 8%. Pundits called it a midlife crisis. But something else happened too. People noticed. Ahmed started telling every passenger about the tall guy who fixed the center's Wi-Fi and taught my nephew Python. Mrs. Johnson organized a petition supporting Alex's community pivot, signed by hundreds. Carlos donated half his bodega profits to the health fund. The ripple Maria had predicted grew into a wave. Tomas, now stronger, drew a new picture. A city where tall buildings had gardens on top and people held hands across streets. He gave it to Alex with a shy hug. "For my friend who helped my heart." Alex framed it in his penthouse, the only personal item on the bare walls. Months later, the turning point arrived publicly. At a packed community town hall standing room only, Maria took the microphone. Cameras rolled. Local news had caught wind of the billionaire who stayed. "I used to work for Vostek," she began, voice steady. "They let me go when profits mattered more than people. I was angry, scared. But then someone showed up, not with apologies, but with action. He didn't fix everything, but he showed up, again and again. And because he did, others did too." She looked straight at Alex, seated quietly in the back row. "Kindness isn't weakness. It's the strongest thing we have." The room erupted in applause. Alex stood, eyes glistening. He walked to the front, not as CEO, but as Alex. "I spent decades thinking control was power," he said. "I was wrong. Real power is choosing to care, even when it's hard, even when it costs you." He announced Vostek's new foundation, fully funded, independent, focused on the Bronx and beyond. No press release fanfare, just truth. Later, under string lights in the park, the celebration continued. Tomas ran to Alex, pulling him into a dance. Maria watched, smiling. Ahmed raised a toast in Urdu and English. Mrs. Johnson hugged everyone. As the night wound down, Alex and Maria stood apart, watching the crowd. "You changed everything," she said softly. "No," he replied. "We did. One small choice at a time." Full circle. The same park where he'd first accepted a bowl of soup. Now he handed her one same recipe. She laughed. "Still the best soup in New York." He smiled, genuine, unguarded. "Still the best people." Asterisk. The camera pulls back, lights twinkling, voices rising in song. A community no longer divided by shadows of skyscrapers, but connected by threads of unexpected grace. This story shows how one act of kindness can change everything. What's one way you could make a difference in someone's life today? Challenge yourself and share your commitment in the comments. 1 year later, spring 2026, the Bronx feels different. The community center, once patched with duct tape and hope, now stands proud with fresh paint and solar panels installed through the new Vostek Foundation. Kids chase each other across expanded playground space. The mobile health van parks every Wednesday. No appointment needed. Its line always long but patient. Rent relief programs have kept dozens of families in their homes. The after-school coding and art classes Tomas once attended now serve over 200 children, many on scholarships funded quietly but consistently. Maria Ruiz no longer juggles two jobs. She runs the community outreach arm of the foundation full-time, meaningful work that lets her be home for Tomas every evening. At 36, she carries herself with a quiet confidence that turns heads. Tomas, now 9 and thriving after his last surgery, races her on with energy he never had before. His latest drawing, a colorful city where everyone helps everyone, hangs in the center's lobby. Framed and signed by Tomas Ruiz, age 9. Alexander Voss still lives in the penthouse, but it no longer feels like a fortress. The walls now hold photos, him and Tomas at a chess tournament, group shots from community barbecues. One candid of him laughing, actually laughing, while Ahmed teaches him how to parallel park a cab for fun. He stepped down as CEO 6 months ago, handing the reins to a successor committed to the new direction. The board fought it, stocks wobbled, but the foundation's impact silenced most critics. Revenue dipped briefly, then climbed again. Turns out treating people decently is good business too. Alex visits the Bronx 3 or 4 times a week. No fanfare. He unloads crates, tutors kids in basic entrepreneurship, listens when someone needs to talk. The Ice King nickname has faded. Locals call him Alex now, or sometimes just the guy who stayed. One quiet afternoon, Maria finds him sitting on the same park bench where they first really talked. She hands him a bowl of her abuela's chicken noodle soup, still the best in New York. Full circle, she says, sitting beside him. He takes a slow sip, eyes on the children playing. I used to think success was measured in zeros. Turns out it's measured in moments like this. Maria rests her head lightly on his shoulder for a second, just a second. You gave us more than money, Alex. You gave us belief. That someone sees us. That we matter. He looks at her, voice soft. You gave me the same thing. They sit in companionable silence as the sun lowers, painting the skyline gold. In the distance, Mrs. Johnson leads a sing-along. Carlos sells empanadas to raise funds for the summer camp. Ahmed honks cheerfully as he drops off volunteers. A small city within a city, stitched back together by threads of ordinary, stubborn kindness. The camera lingers on the park, diverse faces, shared laughter, hands helping hands. No fairy tale ending, just real people choosing each other, day after day. Stories like this remind us that extraordinary kindness exists all around us. It doesn't always come from billionaires or big announcements. Sometimes it starts with a bowl of soup, an extra shift covered, a listening ear when no one else has time. It grows when we decide the person in front of us is worth showing up for, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs something. If this touched your heart, please like this video. It helps more people discover these inspiring stories. Subscribe for more tales of human kindness that will restore your faith in humanity. And most importantly, look for opportunities in your own life to be someone's unexpected blessing. What act of kindness will you perform this week? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and remember, you have the power to change someone's entire world.